ESPN Bet Sportsbook. We got Rams and 49ers tonight. The number on Matthew Stafford, 234.5 passing yards.
Yeah, I'm going to take more. Number one, pass rush. This is going to be a heavy pass game for the Rams.
Well, the number on Nakua is 94.5 receiving yards, which is a very high total for a receiver. Which way do you go?
I would go more. I just think that the way that they're operating in zone defense, again, and the way that they use
patches, do we go more or less?
Yeah, I'm going to go more. Again, I think this becomes a game for the 4.5.
Okay, so that's our parlay. We've taken those three picks. We've made it into a parlay, and we're boosting it, baby. Here we go. You go to the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app, and if you like that parlay, the odds are now plus 309. Look for the more or less featured parlay on the homepage and in the parlay lounge. And very quickly, let's get into that game because it kicks off the weekend tonight. It's a very important game in the NFC West. We'll do a moment on it here. Shefty, the 49ers again will be without their quarterback.
They're battered right now. Mac Jones will start in place of Brock Purdy, who was sore this past week from his turf toe injury. The 49ers found out about it Sunday night into Monday, so they're not going to play Brock Purdy, and they're not going to have Purdy. They're not going to have Ricky Pearsall. They're not going to have Juwan Jennings. They're not going to have George Kittle. They're not going to have Nick Bosa. The frontline star players for this team, with the exception of Christian McCaffrey and Fred Warner, are essentially out from this game. It's a tough matchup. Sean McVay thrives on Thursday night games. If you compare his record and their performance on Thursday nights compared to Monday nights, they believe that he has less time to think, he's more reactive, and he does an unbelievable job on Thursday nights. This is the thinking.
And Hawk, I just wanted to quickly ask you, because we talk about it on Sunday Countdown a little bit, and Dan just brought it up. Puka Nacua is one of these guys. When we talk about the best receivers in the NFL, there's a list of names we rattle off. It's Jefferson, it's Chase, it's C.D. Lamb. Should Puka Nacua's name be right there with anybody?
Absolutely. He does things that other receivers can't. Now look, there's two lanes to always operate in when you're talking about a player. How talented they are and how good they are. Talent is what you get when you leave the hospital. Good is what you put into the detail of your work. And nobody does that at the receiver position in the league as good as Puka Nacua. And me and Dan were talking yesterday about, like, what's his special quality? He can find and locate and track the ball with the least amount of notice of any receiver in the league. And that bodes perfect with Matt Stafford, because Matt Stafford's letting it fly. Puka Nacua is navigating through a defense, last minute finds the ball, catch ball. That's why he's so special, and that's why they have such good rhythm.
Yeah, I honestly believe he would be at the top of the list for MVP. I don't know if there's an offensive player that's asked to do more. Maybe the guy that he's playing against tonight, McCaffrey?
No. You are spot on, because what is not in that highlight package is when they go 11 personnel, he's essentially a tight end. They put him down in the backfield, down to the line of scrimmage, and he's blocking safeties and linebackers, and he's always a point of attack blocker. Receivers don't do that.
Yeah, Brett Coleman called him a fullback. I don't think that's like hyperbolic either. I think for tonight, here's what I see from the 49ers. Can McCaffrey have, realistically, 35-plus touches because they are decimated on offense? Can he be one of those, or have one of those just ridiculous performances? Now, the Rams defense is fantastic, so I think that's a massive challenge. That's the most likely way that the 49ers can keep it close and give themselves a chance. McCaffrey has 35-plus touches, 200 all-purpose yards, and they have 2 or so takeaways. Then I think they can hang.
I'm taking San Francisco solely because of the Adam Schefter theory. You said it last week at this table. No one thinks the Cowboys have any chance to play with the Packers. Next thing you know, they're right there at the end. This game in every way suggests the 49ers should have no chance, which is exactly why, for some reason, they'll find a way to win. Next up is Sound Off here. It's interesting people saying interesting things. And this one is particularly interesting. I'm dying to hear Taylor Lewan's reaction. Cam Ward, after his Tennessee team fell to 0-4 this past week, described his own team like this.
I mean, if we keeping the bulk right now, so we 0-4. We have, this point, we got nothing to lose. We dropped a quarter of our games, and we've yet to do anything, so we have to lock in.
So that's what he said. Taylor, your reaction?
I'm Taylor Lewan, and I approve this message. that is my reaction.
Okay, so that's a funny reaction, and I like it. And you were a Tennessee Titan and all that kind of stuff. Here's how I reacted to it. Man, that is the saddest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. That this kid, who, I do the draft, so I've never met Cam Ward. I don't know him. I don't have a personal stake in this. But I know everything about his journey. He started at Incarnate Word. He worked his way all the way up to where he becomes the first pick in the draft. All we hear about him is exactly what you were saying earlier. First one in the building, last one out of the building, working like crazy, doing all the right stuff. And he now is going to be until they win a championship, he is the kid who got up there and said that. The same way Sam Darnold was seeing ghosts. Like, what they're doing to him. And when I make the comment, more young quarterbacks in the NFL are ruined than are developed, this is a perfect example of that. If this team wasn't ready to support their first pick in the draft, they're non-competitive in the games that they play. And you're putting this kid in a position that, maybe he overcomes it and winds up being a great player. But a lot of people wouldn't. And for him to have to stand up there and say that, I understand that it's funny on some level, but it also struck me as very sad.
Yeah, no, it is sad because they're not a competitive team. You bring up Sam Darnold seeing ghosts, and that is a funny, thing that everyone brought up. But Cam Ward is just telling the truth, and the truth doesn't care about feelings. So when you watch Cam Ward and the right tackle issues they have, they're missing J.C. Latham, their defense is giving up a bunch of yards. They put up 0 points against an 0-3 Houston Texans team. They are not a competitive team. You see them in situational football. 2-minute drill. The first week against the Denver Broncos, they don't push the ball in the field. They get back up. They try to throw it 3 times instead of running the ball. Ends up in the Broncos scoring their first touchdown. Then you go to the next week. The next week they're sitting there and they're on the 50-yard line, and instead of trying to take a couple shots at the end zone or pushing the ball a little farther down the field for an easier field goal, they get much more conservative. They're lost from an identity standpoint right now. I don't think Cam Ward saying, let's keep it a buck, we ask, is a bad thing. Because the truth at the end of the day is they're not a great football team. They can be. They've had these lows. When my first year when I was with the Titans, we were 2-14. The next year we were 3-13. Fast forward 4 years later, we're playing for an AFC championship. So those things can happen. What are you laughing about? 4 years. Sorry. Oh yeah. I don't want to go. I don't want to go 9-7, 9-7, 9-7.
It's a long time.
Yeah, but I'm saying this kid got drafted to be here for the next 10+ years. He's going to be here for a long time. Put things around him, spend the money, and get the right coach.
I want to hear from a quarterback. When you see that kid have to get up there in front of the world and say, I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's what he said. Let's keep it a buck. We ask. I mean, what goes through your mind as a quarterback?
Yeah, I would tell you that the first thing is I hope he doesn't become another statistic of those failed quarterbacks that we sit there and go, what could have been?
Right.
And then the second thing, and I'm being dead serious, I feel better about Cam Ward today as a player than I did 3-4 months ago going into the draft when I thought he should be the #1 pick. I truly deep down believe he is a special talent throwing the football.
Yeah.
And the results of the individual performance and the team performance are much more attached to what's around him than his inability to play. Now, is he going to become Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold and these quarterbacks that everyone said they suck and didn't put the context of what was around him? I don't think that he's got enough playmakers. I don't think the protection's been great. I'm of the belief, and I know people hate me for it, that you can't live in the shotgun anymore at that position in the NFL because it does a detriment to both the player and the offense. I think that the long-term hopes for that offense and Cam Ward are very bright because of that player alone.
Yeah. I don't think that they're ruining him. I think the opposite. I think it's going to build a monster. I think for the young quarterback that you say it ruined, those are quarterbacks that need all the elements to be perfect to be at their best. If you watch Cam Ward, even though they're 0-4, he is not one of those kind of quarterbacks. Yeah. I think because it's hard, he's going to be battle tested. He is going to develop faster, and he's going to figure it out because that is his personality. Every #1 pick goes to non-competitive teams. That's why you're the #1 pick. And the hope is that you have a dude with the moxie and the understanding to be like, hey, I'm going to do what I need to do to help turn this ship. And when I watch Cam Ward, I see it. I said that to you weeks ago.
Yeah.
I said he's a guy.
I don't even, you see how abysmal the Tennessee Titans are right now. And the last thought in my head is Cam Ward going to work out? I've only been around him a couple times. And when he's kind of calling out the team and challenging the team, saying